Hello and welcome to the All Rookie Podcast. Today is Halloween, October 31st, 2023. And I am William Harris, aka William is Bill, here to recap the first week of the regular season for your rookie class of 2023. We're finally here. First week is in the books. And let's talk about how the rookies did. And it's going to be surprising for some of you. For some of you, it may not be. But, for starters, only 14 of the rookies are averaging over 5 points per game thus far. Only 5 points. I mean, that's not that high of a threshold. Only 14 players are averaging that. Only 24 of the rookies in total have even scored 1 point in the first week. So, there was 58 rookies drafted and then some undrafted players as well. But only 24 have even put a point on the board. So let's get straight to it, into the leaders, the top 10 players, rookies in this 2023 season. Of course, number one, Victor Wembanyama, the big man for the Spurs. He's averaging 27 minutes per game, almost 16 points per game, because that last game was a bit of a dud for him. He scored 11 points in his last game. But other than that, he's been having a terrific start to the season, just like everyone expects, as long as he stays healthy. But 16 points, 7 boards, almost 2 assists, 2 steals per game, almost 2 blocks per game. The turnovers are a little high with almost 5 turnovers per game. But Victor Wembanyama, he's 7'4" or whatever, and playing like a small forward most of the time and handling the ball more than a typical player his size would do. So he's, of course, going to have more turnovers. The Spurs are not in win now mode. They're in developmental mode and experimental mode as well. But Victor is going to have plenty of opportunity to shine. I like that his minutes are around the 27 mark because he's not out there 35, 40 minutes, exhausting himself, putting himself in bad spots to where he can get hurt. He's still displaying everything that he needs to and improving on things that he wants to. I saw an interview where he talked about he was doing some of the more crazy off the wall things overseas in France because he was preparing for the NBA. Because in the NBA, he knows they're going to try to take away what his strengths are. So he was trying to develop extra strengths and extra type of ways to score and get open and get past the open man. So right now, if we want to be picky, like I said, those turnovers are going to need to come down. You want the rebounds to go up a little bit, but he's not a true post player. But overall, Victor Wembanyama is having an amazing first week of the regular season. Can't wait to see what happens in week 2. Next, I have Brandon Miller on the board. Believe it or not, after all the offseason debate, after all the panning of the Hornets that's been going down, by myself included, Brandon Miller is the second best rookie in this class for this week. Now, I'll give a little side note here. I'm not including Chet Holmgren. He's not a rookie. He's eligible for Rookie of the Year. He's not in this draft class. So I'm not going to include him because technically he would be second, averaging 15, 7, and 2 blocks per game. Similar numbers to Victor. If you guys want me to include Chet every time, I will, but it's not my plan to. So straight to Brandon Miller for the Hornets, playing 29 minutes per game in his 2 games, 15 points per game, 4.5 boards, 2 assists, a half a steal, and a half a block per game. And in this most recent game, which is the first game of week 2, he really exploded. But we'll get into that next week because I'm airing this like a day later because I had to wait till all the stats came through. But as far as the first week, Brandon Miller showed a lot and showed that size, strength, and ability that he has is going to translate to the Hornets, to the NBA. And that's the main reason they drafted him, because of his height, length, size. A lot of people were saying draft a sure thing of Scoot, but I think the Hornets went with a little bit of the clay that they feel they can mold into a star, because you don't see that many players at 6'9" that can do what Brandon Miller can do. So, like, last year, Scoot was better than him, but they're projecting that Brandon Miller will be better or equal to Scoot for the long haul, and that size of 6'9", that could come in very much handy. So The Hornets may have not messed it up like everyone thought at first, but I'm impressed what I've seen in Brandon Miller. If you want to look at the field goal percentage, he's shooting 50% and 45% from three. That is really, really good. It's just 2 games, but the first week, he's number 2. And speaking of 3-point percentage, Victor needs to up that too. He's at 23%. So that definitely needs to go up. But next on the board, Derek Lively, number 3 for the Mavs. He impressed me as well. And I did not expect much from him at all. First game ever, a double-double. He had 16 points, 10 boards. Right now, he's averaging 24 minutes per game, 12.5 points, 6 rebounds, a half assist, half steal, and 1 block per game. You want to see those blocks go up, but he's only playing half of the game, 24 minutes per game. Those minutes creep up around 30. Maybe he'll get 2 blocks per game. But, he's kind of going to be matchup based, just like when we saw Chet going against Jokic. The size difference weight-wise is tremendous. So Derek Lively is going to be in some of those situations as well. But he's running the floor amazing, providing great rebounds and defensive presence for the Mavs, for everyone that he can compete with. So I'm impressed. I did not think he even should have came out this year, but the Mavs have a plan for him, and they're working him into the lineup. I mean, he's not even trying to shoot anything outside of the paint. So his field goal percentage is almost 92%. So they're doing exactly what they want him to do. Next, I have Ausar Thompson from the Detroit Pistons as my 4th best rookie of the first week. He's averaging 29 minutes per game, only 6 points per game, but that's not the key. The key is the almost 11 rebounds per game, almost 5 assists per game, and 2 blocks per game. That is insane. That's ridiculous. Ausar Thompson is a stat stuffer. He's filling the stats in every category and helping this Detroit team. They were starting the season without Bogdanovich, and he was able to step in and fill that role. He may not give that role back because this is the type of player that you want to, he's not going to need the ball, but he's still going to be productive and helpful for the team. So very proud of Ausar Thompson. I thought it would be a work in progress for him, but he's coming straight out of the gate, ready to contribute, and you have to be nothing but impressed with Ausar Thompson. Next, we got my guy at number 5, Keyonte George, killing it this year in only 19 minutes per game, averaging 9 points. But you would think a shooter scorer like Keyonte George, that's all he's going to have is points, no other categories. But he's actually having 4 rebounds per game, a little over 3 assists per game. Not much other than that, but 4 rebounds per game from a guy that's 6'4". That's not his goal. That's not what he should be doing. It's incredible. So, I love that he's having somewhat of an all-around game. Not many defensive stats at all, but he's coming out and impressing. And remember, he was the 16th pick in the draft, I believe, but not expected to come out here and play great for Utah from day one. And he's out here playing 20 minutes per game from day one, looking better than Colin Sexton, looking better than a lot of guys in that lineup right now for Utah. And it's only a matter of time before he's starting and playing 30 minutes per game for Utah. So I love it. His field goal percentage is good, 45% for a small guard. 3-point percentage is good, almost 36%. So I'm very excited to see how he's going to fare in these next coming weeks. Only 1 turnover per game. So Keyonte George, amazing. He was my 6th ranked prospect in this class. I really like his game. I like where his trajectory is going. Next, we have someone I did not like coming into the draft, Cason Wallace. Everyone else did, though. But he's averaging in 20 minutes per game, almost 10 points, 2 rebounds, almost 1 assist, and almost 1 block per game. But his defense is really getting him on the floor, keeping him on the floor. And this has him playing above Tre Mann. That was one of the things I was concerned about. They have Josh Giddey, Shea, Tre Mann. They had Jared Butler, and they had another point guard as well. I think they had Misalic. So my point was, why draft a point guard when you have so much point guard depth in OKC? Well, Casey Wallace is known for being a great defender. That's what they drafted him for, and that is getting him on the court. He's played all 3 games in the first week. Tre Mann only played 1 of those. So that goes to show you he's kind of already taken that spot, and he has room to grow. He's shooting a great percentage from the field, somehow 91%, the same percentage as Derek Lively, and he is a 6'3", 6'4" guard, shooting 1,000% from the 3-point range. That's because he hasn't shot many, but still, you want to see those assists go up. Maybe those steals go up, but that's going to come with time. It's just the most impressive part is that he's playing and contributing to this team, and this is a winning team as well. This team is trying to do some things and this year now that they have Chet. So it's very promising signs for Casey Wallace. The fantasy numbers or whatever are not exactly there yet, but it's promising for him. Number 7, Sasha Vezenkov for the Sacramento Kings. Now, he is kind of in the Chet boat, but not really. This is truly his first year in the NBA, but he's been playing internationally. He is 28 years old, but a rookie, so I will count him. But he was a part of a draft class like 3 or 4 years ago. But this is his first year over here. International man of mystery. Coming into dynasty drafts, everyone was spending all their fab on him if he wasn't drafted. But so far, he's playing pretty decent for Sacramento. In 15 minutes per game, he's averaging almost 10 points, 2 rebounds, almost a steal, not much else other than that. I mean, he's just playing solid. He's clearly behind Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray, but they still find spots for him to come in and be productive. You know, the thing for him, if he hits those threes, he'll stay on the court. He's shooting 40% from 3. You cannot frown upon that at all. So that's going to help the Kings, you know, especially now. De'Aaron Fox is injured. He's not a point guard in Sasha Vezenkov, but that's going to allow him more time on the court. So we'll see what happens with that. Next, my guy, Scoot, is having a bit of a struggle thus far, but he's at number 8 still in 29 minutes per game, averaging 7 points, only 2 rebounds, only 3 assists, and 4 turnovers per game. So it's not going the way we all hoped and projected for Scoot, but it's the first week. Rookie point guards have a time, in their first week. I mean, normally it takes a month or 2 for some. Trae Young took about 2 or 3 months before he looked like he was gonna make it. He was struggling early. So hopefully that's what's going on with Scoot. He's gonna go through his lumps, I guess, early. And hopefully he'll come out on the other side. I'm very confident that he will. He's on a dysfunctional team right now, team trying to lose. They just had an injury with Anthony Simons. That possibly could help Scoot because he won't have another guard that's kind of like him that he's playing with. He'll be playing with Shaedon Sharpe now more. So we will see, but the team is very young, needs some direction, does not have elite talent. They have a lot of young talent. So we will see what happens, but I'm very confident in Scoot. I love that he's getting the minutes, but we're going to have to work on everything, really. The 3-point percentage is non-existent, and that's not 0 because he has taken some, but it's almost 0. That's not good. His regular field goal percentage, 33%, not good. So this is one of the factors that probably led to him being the 3rd pick in the draft because of his height. It's a little tougher for a 6'2" guy to score than a 6'9" guy. So even though he looked great in the G League, which is semi-professional, right up under the NBA level, it's still a jump to the NBA. So, but don't get all depressed. Don't drop him, all that. Don't lose your hopes on Scoot. He's going to be all right. He's still the best prospect in this draft class, in my opinion. He's just going to have to put it on the court. And Chauncey, the coach, Chauncey Billups, trust me, we'll get that out of him. So no concern there. Next, Toumani Camara, a late 2nd round pick, has entered the conversation at the number 9th rookie in the first week of the season. Now, if you don't know Toumani Camara, he was drafted by the Suns, and he was traded to Portland in the trade that sent DeAndre Ayton to Portland. He's playing 22 minutes per game, averages 7 points per game, 3 boards, 2 assists, and 1 block per game. That is incredible for someone that was considered a throw-in. guys that are drafted super late in the draft, I think he was like at 50 or so in the draft, do not come in and impact games like this. So he would have played for Portland or Phoenix because both teams could have used the depth. Phoenix could have used them more. But he's coming out here playing well. His field goal percentage needs to improve, but his three-point percentage is decent at 33%. His three-point percentage is actually better than his two-point percentage. But Toumani Camara is impressing in Portland. But like I said, another rookie that's playing good minutes. This team is full of youngsters. They're all going to develop together. Who knows what's going to happen with Jeremy Grant? He's pretty much the only old head there. And he's like 29, 28. But Portland is kind of a dumpster fire, but they have some promising young talent. It's just going to take some time. And last but not least, for the most part, I'm going to go over is Amen Thompson for Houston, averaging in 18 minutes per game, 7 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, not much else, 2 turnovers per game. And this is because he's sharing the court with Fred VanVleet. And he's on a team that's kind of like what we just mentioned with Portland. Houston has a lot of young talent, rebuilding, trying to win, but still trying to develop as well. I wish Amen was in a situation like Scoot where he had the keys and he was starting, playing big minutes, but he's backing up Fred VanVleet. But he's showing the flashes that he is the guy that we thought he would be. You know, he was my number 2 ranked prospect in this class. But he needs to keep improving that jump shot. You know, the shot is not going down like we wanted to, but he's shooting 42% from the field, 20% from 3. So we see where he needs to improve, and I think he will get there. Next, if you want to keep going, I'll name the top 14. You know, Jordan Hawkins is playing solid for the Pelicans. Brandon Ingram is actually out October 30th, so Hawkins got to start the game. You know, that was a huge surprise for me because Willie Green doesn't normally play rookies at all, so that's promising. Jordan Hawkins is showing some things, averaging 6 points per game. Next, Grady Dick. He had a good game the other day, averaged 16 points in one game the other day. But throughout 3 games, he's averaging 5 points, not much else, but he did have one solid game. Anthony Black, the last player to score at least 5 points per game, averaging 5 points for the Orlando Magic and 2 blocks per game because he only played in one game. It was surprising to everyone that Anthony Black did not play in the first game. Considering he was a 6th pick in the draft, you know, that was a big shock. But this team is going to make him work for it. Some teams do that. Some teams throw the rookies right in there. So, you know, Anthony Black has played that one game in the first week. But there are other names you may be surprised you have not heard. Because I said the threshold, 5 points per game. Jarace Walker. I mean, that is insane to me that he has not really gotten any time on the court. I think he's played like 5 minutes in one game and 0 points. And this is a guy I thought would be starting. You know, my pre-draft evaluation on him was he was not that good. He should have been maybe a late first round pick, and he ended up going 7th, 7th or 8th. Yeah, 8th. But once he went to Indiana, you know, they invested a lot in him. I thought he would be starting. Throw him right in there if you think so highly of him. But they have Obi Toppin playing over him and Jalen Smith. So it's very weird. I don't know what their plan is for Jarace Walker, but we'll see. I think the minutes will definitely ramp up for him because Obi Toppin is not cutting it. Jett Howard, same boat, 1 game, 5 minutes, nothing else. Cam Whitmore, you know, darling in the summer league, played well in the preseason. He played 1 game, 10 minutes, no points. You know, Hunter Tyson. I love Hunter Tyson from what I saw in the offseason, the summer league, the preseason. 1 game, 3 minutes. Not getting the time on the field and on the court. And last but not least, I'll mention Chris Murray for Portland. He's played 2 games, averaging 5 minutes. So what's wild to me is he's in that power forward type of position as well. He can play the 3 or the 4. But you got Toumani Camara playing 22 minutes, and Chris Murray's playing 5. They drafted Chris Murray 22nd. Toumani Camara was drafted around the 50 range. And he was a throw-in a trade for you guys in Portland. and yet you're playing him 4 times as much as your first round pick you selected in Chris Murray. Very weird. Like I said, I don't know what's going on in Portland. I guess Tumani is just outperforming him in practice. But those are just some of the things and key notes from week 1 for your rookies. You have any questions? Anybody you want me to talk about? Let me know. But, Kobe Buffkin, 1 game, 3 minutes. Taylor Hendricks, 1 game, 2 minutes. Kobe Bryant, Bilal Coulibaly. He has actually played. So that's the name we should mention. Bilal Coulibaly for Washington. And that's a horrible team in Washington. He's played 2 games, 19 minutes per game, only 1.5 points per game. Insane. It's so crazy. I'm losing my voice. 2.5 boards, 1.5 assists. He does have the 2 blocks per game. That's what's saving him. But I want to see more minutes for Bilal Coulibaly. But it's a struggle right now. So, Julian Strawther, 2 games, 6.5 minutes per game, 4 points per game. So it's just a crazy scenario right now with the rookies, but I figured I would give you a week 1 recap and let you know how they are doing. We'll be back next week. Unless something crazy happens, I'll come back with a week 2 recap. If you like this format, this style, it's kind of hard to do every day. Maybe if I get thousands of followers, I'll do this all the time. But for now, I'll hit you up every week and give you a weekly recap on the rookies. I hope you liked it. Subscribe, like, comment. Thank you all for listening, watching, tuning in. Until next time, I'm out of here. Peace. The All Rookie Podcast.